Hello, my fellow property managers. Marc Cunningham with Grace Management. We're releasing this video in the second week of February in 2024. And if you've only been in the property management industry for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, this is a very different turnover season that we're about to step into for most markets in place. So for the last number of years, when we get to the turnover season, which typically for most companies is spring to end of summer, that 6-month window there. What property management companies do is they say, well, we're going to offer a lease renewal to our tenants. We hope they renew their lease. If they don't, though, that's okay, because I'm going to have a line of 10 people wanting to rent this property as soon as I stick the sign in the yard, and I'm probably going to get a lot higher rental rate for the new person coming in than the old person was paying anyway, just because rents have been escalating so fast. So I don't really need to focus on tenant retention. Well, we believe that in most markets that is changing dramatically. So instead of having a line of 10 people willing to pay whatever price the property management company wants to charge for that rental or what the market demands for that rental, instead, most markets are seeing this: much longer vacancy times. It's not going to turn over in a day. Depending on the market you're in, that property may sit vacant for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks before you're going to fill that. So you're going to have longer vacancy period. Secondly, the increased turnover costs have gone up. The cost for things like paint and carpet and routine maintenance and the utility bill and mowing the lawn, those are costing dramatically more because of inflation than they did in years past. So you've got a longer time with no income coming in. You've got increased expenses while the property is sitting vacant. And to top it off, when the new person does come in and they finally move in many, many markets, the new rental rate that person coming in at is flat, or in some cases even less than what the prior tenant had been paying. This was a headline from Apartment List. 60 of the 100 largest U.S. cities have negative year-over-year rent growth. This was through all of 2023 compared to the year prior. In many, many markets, we're seeing rents decline. If most of them are flat, but many, many are declining, 60 of the top 100. By the way, if you're not utilizing Apartment List as a resource for you as a property management company, you need to get on there. They've got great data. They've got good sources of information that way. So a couple thoughts and suggestions for you as a property management company to focus, to pay attention to your renewals. This is something you need to be doing for your owner clients because it does not help them to have a vacancy. The biggest expense a landlord can ever incur is turnover. So we want to minimize the turnover expenses on a property. So number one, you need to prioritize renewals over rent increases. That means in years past, maybe you said, well, gosh, we've got to keep up with the market. Rents are up 15% in our market this year over as compared to last. So we got to make sure that that's what we're going after. Expenses are up. We've got to make sure we're capitalizing for our owner clients to capture the new market rent of our property. That should not, in my opinion, be your focus going forward. The focus should be flip-flopped, that now we're not concerned about capturing market increases, because in many markets there aren't. What we're concerned with is prioritizing the renewals, keeping our current tenants in place, minimizing those expenses. Now that means, as a second step, we've got to inform our owner clients. If your owner client is used to getting a 10% annual year-over-year increase in rents, and suddenly this year it's down 4%, they don't know that unless you tell them. You need to be educating your owner clients so that they are understanding your prioritization for their best interest on tenant retention. It's no longer about how much more rent can we get on this property. It is about how do we keep this tenant in place for another year. But if your owner doesn't understand that, you need to educate them. You need to tell them what rents are doing in your market. You need to tell them the average days on market. You need to explain to them the things I said earlier, how the turnover costs are going up. That's why, Mr. Owner Client or Miss Owner Client, we are focusing for you on tenant retention. Let them know. Number 3, how do you make sure that you increase the percentage of your renewals? There's no magic to this. You simply have to take care of your tenants and fix things when they break during the term of the lease. Did you know that national surveys year over year, this has been for the last decade, when they survey tenants moving out of properties and they say, hey, why are you moving? For those people that aren't moving because of a job transfer, but they're choosing to move but staying somewhere locally, the number one reason they always give is poor quality maintenance. Something breaks, My property management company won't fix it, or they're delayed in fixing it, so I'm out of here. Don't focus on all the bells and whistles. You don't need to send birthday cards, and you don't need to have parties where you're grilling hamburgers at your office for your tenants. They weren't going to come to that anyway. You know what they want? They want you to treat them respectfully and fix things when they break. That's what they want of you. So if you do those things, you're likely to increase your lease renewal rate, increase your resident retention at your properties. Now, before I share with you the next thing I think you need to be tracking, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Citizen Home Solutions. When you do have a turnover, so you say, well, the tenant did move, Mark. I tried to retain him, but I couldn't. We all know that one of the challenging aspects of turnover is the transfer of utilities. Utilities are in your name as the landlord. The new tenant comes in. You've got to track which utility company goes with which property. Maybe they require you to call them. We have some utility companies that still require us to send a fax to get these things transferred. I mean, the utility companies are all over the board. Citizen Home Solutions can come in play as a concierge service as it relates to things like utilities, cable, phone, internet, security systems. They do those things for you. It's a free benefit you can offer to your new incoming tenants to help them transfer utilities. It's a huge benefit to you as a property manager. It's a huge benefit to your tenants. We're talking about tenant retention here. This is a great way to do that. And it's free, best of all. So jump on their website, pmcpartner.com. Find out how they can help you as a property management company to offer that utility concierge service. Okay, number 4 is this. You've got to track your lease renewal percentages. Two parts of this. You've got to start tracking this. Do you know what your lease renewal percentage was for last year? You should know what that is. A big national apartment community that manages tens of thousands of properties throughout many, many states recently announced that in the Southwest, where I'm in Colorado here, in the Southwest and the Midwest, they were so proud to announce, that this is multifamily, that their annual retention rate is the highest it's ever been, and it was 49%. That means 49% of their tenants in the multifamily world renewed their leases in the last quarter. They were very, very proud of that. Now, for those of us that manage single family, that scares us a lot because that's very, very high if we had half of our tenants moving. But do you know what yours is? Ours was over 75% in 2023. 3 out of 4 tenants renew their leases with us. We want to make that even higher because we're putting more focus on that, more focus of taking care of our tenants, more focus of the second thing here, which is, well, have a documented process. We get so busy in the property management space that it seems like lease renewal season is an afterthought. We'll do it when we have time because we're busy fixing things and taking care of emergencies. This is a priority. This needs to be a priority for your company to take care of your owner clients. Therefore, you need to have a documented process in place. When do you start the process? How do you involve your owner clients in the process? The timeline is very, very important on this. What do you say to the tenant? Do you have a script that you're saying, hey, we want you to renew, here are your options? Make it easy for the tenant to renew. Get out ahead of them. Don't wait until the lease is going to renew in 2 weeks and then reach out to them. They may have already decided to move. You have to be the one reminding them that their lease is coming up for renewal in 3 months, and here are their options. Have a documented process in place. If you've purchased our system annual packages, you have that in there. Jump on our website. Make sure you're utilizing the most current versions of that. You can find that and other information at pmbuild.com. Jump on our podcast. We have a recent podcast where we talked in detail about the lease renewal process and how to improve that for your groups out there. But until next time, my friends, as always, I wish you success.